Hello, and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. I just finished reading Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, Issue 2. This is from Dynamite. It's written by Marguerite Bennett and Christina Trujillo, with art by Moriat and Demi Machiras. I'm sure I got that wrong. Well, I have the Ashley Dew cover because all the other covers were A, liars, and B, not as sexy. If you're listening, Ashley, call me. Anyway, we pick up where we left off with Sheena jumping down into the jungle to confront the man she thinks is the surveyor. Now, of course, this is the Zona Prohibita in the Amazon. What does that mean? Well, we need a little context first, because it is kind of important to the story. Now, the kid references that he is a student at Valverde University. Now, Valverde is a fictional country used by Hollywood writer and producer Steven DeSouza, and it's kind of made its way into other works as well. It's just a fictional place, and it was also the name of several other places. Like, it was in Commando, it was in Die Hard 2, where General Ramon Esperanza was from, a TV show called Adventure Inc., and it was in the Devil's Due version of Sheena. It was set in Valverde. Now, she lives in the Forbidden Zone in a nature preserve near Valverde. So her tribe is like one of those lost tribe type things, even though they're not quite as lost as they used to be. We get a whole lot of conversation to tell you what I basically did. They're looking for... not the guy, this is the kid that was seeing her through the drone, and he's a student at Valverde, and he has a geo-tracking device, and he's a little bit of an idiot. So... yeah, he talks a lot, says nothing. I learned more about his Axe body spray cologne because he tells horrible jokes too than I did anything really about what's going on. It took like 5 pages of excess dialogue to get to the point. The plot was pretty good, but the rest of it, not so much. He's an annoying, kind of dorky, socially awkward, stereotypical TV sitcom man. His name is Marciano, but he wants her to call him Chano, which is a stupid nickname. I guess he's Latino? I'm not sure. But I don't like him. He's annoying. So they get attacked by some jaguars. Sheena saves them because she knows the head of the pride and she can talk to animals. That's one of her, superpowers. And she's super strong, too. So she makes friends with the jaguars, and they get a cool shot of her eyes being superimposed, or cat eyes being superimposed over her eyes, rather. That kind of represents her talking to animals. And he's asking a bunch of stupid questions, being all nervous and useless. How this kid survived in the jungle as long as he did is a miracle, because I don't know if he could survive in civilization very long. So he blunders around and does dumb stuff, almost touches a poisonous plant and stuff like that. But then they stumble into a clearing which has a Incan pyramid. Now, she references that this is a forbidden area because all the sacred sites are. She says the builders can only be the first people, the lords of Patiatii, which is spelled slightly different. I can't pronounce the place, but I've seen the name before. It's a lost Incan city, and it's actually a real legend. It's a legendary Incan lost city. It's somewhere in the Andes, supposedly the east, and it's said to be in several different places: southeast Peru, northern Bolivia, or southwest Brazil. There are even legends that say that it was between Bolivia and Brazil, somewhere in there. Just some fabled lost city. It's actually a really interesting legend if you get a chance to look it up. But that's actually a legitimate legend. They're not just making that part up. They find this lost city, and there's a statue, and they look at it, and he rambles on incessantly. There's way too much talking in this book. Way too much. This is just a bunch of pointless communication. Chano finds a piece of cloth in these vines, and it looks like part of a shirt, and they're hoping to find the surveyor and a member of Sheena's tribe that apparently was with him and on the outskirts of the city. So they haven't gone into this forbidden city yet, and he calls it Castle Grayskull and makes some other really stupid jokes. Yeah, the real mystery here is that a member of Sheena's tribe was with this guy, leading the surveyor into this area. Why Caldwell Industries would want that is still a mystery, but they're going to attack her tribe. And this kid that's with her is more concerned about seeing a ghost because he hates ghosts. Well, then Sheena smells something, and yeah, giant plants attack them. Death blossoms. It's actually not a bad issue. I would have cut about half the dialogue if I was the editor here. I would have said tone down the dialogue and move it along faster because there's way too much talking. Like the scenes with the jaguars is very well told and there's way less talking. You get the sense that they're surrounded. The cats are all poised well. There's some great shots for the art, so that the art looks pretty good actually. But this guy is just a schmuck and kind of tired of that. It's becoming such an overused stereotype. We really need to get some new ones, guys, because why is it always that the guy sidekick is so useless around the female hero? Why can't he be like somebody that would actually not die in a jungle, be sort of useful and have a team up? He doesn't have to be a love interest. He just has to not be a moron. So other than the guy being an idiot, and I kind of hope he does get eaten by jaguars in the next issue, it's an okay issue. There's just way too much talking. You're not going to retain anyone. Sheena's such a good character. She's been around for ages, since the Golden Age, I think. Yeah, the Golden Age. So she's an old character. You're taking a historically great character that was pretty popular several times and teaming her up with a useless guy that makes a bunch of stupid references, and he's not old enough to make a Castle Grayskull reference, I'm sorry. And I think she deserves more competent sidekicks than a bungling half-wit who's just somebody you're cheering to die. So yeah, I don't know. Pretty good issue. I like the cover. Most of the covers are liars. Get the Ashley Duke cover. She looks really good on it. Overall, pretty decent issue. Not the greatest thing I've ever read, but definitely not the worst. I don't know if it's worth $4, but it's probably worth a read if you're bored and want another book to read. Of course, you've got the bungling male sidekick, overused. You've got the evil corporation, overused. And of course, they're oil drillers. So we gotta not only gang up on strip miners, they are also involved in the oil industry and they spilled oil at the university. So yeah, we've hit all the markers for stereotypes. But at least Sheena's competent. She still looks pretty hot and she's not an idiot. She's a little pig-headed, I guess, but I think that's more just the story arc than anything. But yeah, overall pretty decent issue. Not too bad. Hopefully issue 3 is better, but I'm definitely not saying this is the worst thing I've ever read. I'd recommend it. It's probably not for younger people just because there's so much talking, they're going to get bored. But what little action there is was pretty good. Hopefully this picks up a little bit and becomes a little more action-oriented and a lot less pointless yammering. They could have cut 3 pages out of this without a problem. But that'll do it for this one. As always, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.